Hello, good evening again. I know it's 6:30. I am trying to ensure that all of our participants are on the line. Um, I see we have our Chief Administrator Officer is on. I am looking to see if our County Executive is on. Once he joins the call, we will go ahead and begin the meeting. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you for your patience.
Caroline, I feel like we should have the Jeopardy theme song playing in the background while we wait for it.
Hi, Rich. I am actually trying to see if Mark is on. I see the Office of the County Executive, but I believe that's our team that's helping with the logistics. So I'm just trying to reach Mark.
Was really trying to focus on making sure that we tried to provide as much in terms of resources and support for our farmers as we could.
Right.
Trying to release some of the regulations and restrictions that were there, but also putting
And thank you so much for joining us for the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force. This is our first initial kickoff meeting. For those, all of those who are joining us, you do have an agenda with you, and we will start our introductory meeting with some opening remarks from our Acting Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Rich Madalino.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you all for joining us. If you don't recognize him on the screen, Mark Elrich is the person labeled A2017. That's his code name for tonight, A2017. Don't tweet that, but that's who he is. I want to thank you all for being part of this meeting and for joining the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force. On behalf of the thousands of Montgomery County employees who work every day to keep our residents and our community safe, healthy, and vibrant, we cannot thank you enough for participating in the task force. We know how busy you all are, even if you're all stuck in your own homes, and we appreciate your time to help the county rethink its police department, public safety, and other programs. The purpose of the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force is to develop recommendations that reimagine our Montgomery County Police Department and all of our public safety programs by January 18th of 2021, the daunting task over the next 5 months. We ask that you discuss institutional racism in public safety and explore opportunities for reforms in policies and programs that disproportionately impact communities they serve. We want you to review our police operations that may not be mission focused and make recommendations about how we might change them. We ask that you reimagine the county response to community needs for health and social services, where police may be filling the void, but other departments, other entities might be better to provide those services. And to provide input on the independent and comprehensive audit of the police department, including its audit of any racial bias. An important goal of the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force will be to ensure that the county takes a whole community approach to building a more equitable and inclusive Montgomery County by promoting safe neighborhoods and communities that are better for all of our county residents. Now, before I go on, I want to share a few business matters that will be important for this meeting and for all subsequent meetings. This task force is a public body of the county and is subject to the Maryland Open Meetings Act. Today's meeting is being live streamed on Facebook and on Montgomery County Cable. If you have any questions or comments during the meeting, you may type it into the chat function of Zoom or raise your hand using the same, I think under participants, you can raise your hand. But again, feel free to put a question in chat, and we will try to answer those questions during the question and answer discussion portion of the agenda, which is later. Remember, this meeting is subject to the Public Meetings Act. Any information you share, including any comments you make in the chat function or online, are public material and will be made available to the public via the Public Information Act. So comments in the chat are also subject to the open meetings rules of the county. So thank you again for your participation, and we look forward to working with you for the months ahead. Now I have the honor to introduce to you our county executive, Mark Elrich. As you know, Mark has been our county executive since December 2018. Prior to that, he served 12 years on the Montgomery County Council. He chaired the council committee on public safety during his service on the council. He was a member of the Tacoma Park City Council before joining the county council. And obviously in that local government, that's the only municipal government in Montgomery County that has a first responder police force of its own. So Mark has been well acquainted with the operation of a police department for decades now through his work and service as an elected official in Tacoma Park and Montgomery County. For those of you who don't know, Mark is pretty much a lifelong resident of Montgomery County. He moved here from the district as a child, went to Montgomery County Public Schools, the University of Maryland, where if you probably look in the dictionary under student agitator, you might find a picture of Mark from his days fighting against the Vietnam War during the late 60s and early 70s. Mark has had a fascinating career, and one story that I never fail to tell, even though maybe he's getting bored of it, is his first job out of college was actually working for a department store called Montgomery Ward's. Now, when I look at some of you on this screen, you may never have heard of this department store, which is why it's so important to tell the story, because Mark was actually manager of the auto parts unit at Wheaton Plaza.
Laurel.
Laurel, I'm sorry, the Laurel Mall, and that actually trained managers around the region about operating an auto parts store. And what is so fascinating about this story is Mark went to the people at Montgomery Ward's and said, look, we got to be stocking foreign auto parts because the auto industry is changing and we can't just carry American parts any longer. And they did not take his advice. And there is no Montgomery Ward's any longer. Now, I don't think that was the only thing that did them in, but Mark, at our very first meeting with his senior management team, said that early lesson taught him that organizations must change in order to survive. And if they don't understand the community, the customers they are serving, they are doomed to fail. Now, that's a business explanation, but I think it holds true to how he has been leading the county government and how he wants to talk about this issue, because we have to change. We have to have our services change, and especially on public safety, we need to reimagine how we deliver those services moving forward into the 21st century. So without further ado, it's my honor to give you, to turn over the program to Mark Elrich, our county executive.
Thank you, Rich. Interesting. I was, in fact, a manager for Montgomery Ward's, not something most people would associate with me, I'm sure. So it's good to see familiar faces and unfamiliar faces here. I'm glad so many people. I count 73% participants on the screen are part of this meeting tonight, and I think it's really important. I can't think of any work that is more important for us to do than to deal with policing in our community. It is a cornerstone service, and it determines how many people are going to feel about the county and about how they live here, and whether that determination is this is a welcoming place or this is not a welcoming place. When I was of the age that Rich talked about, I mean, my experience, I had an experience with profiling, but my profiling was long hair. And I could end profiling by cutting my hair. There are people who are profiled today, who no matter what they do, will not stop being profiled because they can't cut their hair. They are who they are. And that's something that has always concerned me. I think we basically have a decent force in this county, but we have problems as well. I'm a big believer in training, and I'm also, between Tacoma Park and here, really came to realize that, every problem in the department is not a rogue officer department. Every time somebody winds up on a TV screen doing something wrong, it's not necessarily because the officer went awry and decided to go his own way. Oftentimes, they're doing exactly what they were trained to do. When you see those disturbing videos of somebody, an officer, higher-ranking officer in another car, coaching another officer to try to get a search out of somebody they've stopped in a pretextual stop, in other words, a stop that really probably shouldn't have been made, that's coming from the top. I know in this county, the harassment of young black kids over pot to try to get arrests comes from the top. It's not officers acting on their own and doing stuff that we don't want them to do. It is part of what people thought was good policing. So if you're going to change what we think about good policing, you have to look at the entire organization. You have to definitely deal with bad apples. But you got to deal with bad training, and you've got to deal with bad expectations. And that's our task, is to really get into how are people trained, what are our expectations for the police force. I agree with so many people. I'm never comfortable with the word defunding, but I will say that moving funding out of the police department to fund services that really ought to be done by somebody other than the police is the absolute right thing to do. It is unfortunate that COVID interrupted so much, because two things we were on the verge of doing. One was we had just completed a task force on decriminalizing homelessness. I mean, talk about people who are victimized. They become homeless, and it doesn't usually take long for someone to get a criminal record. Once you've acquired a criminal record, employment becomes a real challenge. So if the curse of homelessness wasn't deep enough, our criminal justice system has found a way to deepen it. And that report will become part of the things that folks look at on this committee, and that's going to be very important. We're going to look at everything. Like I said, we're going to look at hiring. What are we looking for? Where do we go to recruit? What message do we send to the officers? We're going to look at our training. If I don't want you to do pretextual stops, I don't train you to do them. If I don't want you to harass kids over pot or, things that, should probably be dealt with a different way, I don't train you to do that stuff. And that's the kind of stuff we want people to look at. We want to see what our officers are trained to do. We want to see what milieu our officers told that they're going in. Because some people feel that they're going into a hostile environment where the law enforcement is, the line between barbarism and civilization, the thin blue line, the people who hold back the barbarians. If people are taught to look at their department that way and look at their role in the community that way, it fosters a certain attitude toward community members, which is really unhealthy. It's as unhealthy to think that as it is to think that every officer is brutal and unfeeling and has nothing but ill intentions. And so we've got to make sure that we train our people the right way, that they're ready to come to work. And we're going to be ready to work with all of our departments. So you'll find other police departments, you'll find other county departments in these meetings, not to vote. The voting is going to be done by the civilian members only, but to be resources, to be able to ask questions to. If we're going to talk about moving the police response from homelessness away from the police into social service agencies, we need to have an idea of what those agencies need to be able to do and what, if any, should be the role of the police. If I'm going to send a social worker to deal with the family domestic problem or a child issue, but many times an officer needs to come along. You want that officer to be front and center with a gun standing there, or do you want the officer to be in the background while a social worker tries to address the problem? These are things that we're going to be working on. This is why we want the other departments here, and this is why we want to do a thorough review. So the goal is top to bottom, everything we do. We're going to be asking the council to let us bring in a consulting group who will help us with our work. There's a committee, which is going to be an ongoing committee of the council, which we've invited to attend these meetings. And what we're hoping is between this larger group and the consultants, we bring back a toolkit of things we can look at for changing in the department. Some things that I'm particularly interested in, if there are things that I can change very quickly, then I'm going to change them very quickly. We negotiated the right to intervene, or the duty to intervene, a couple of months ago. We didn't wait for legislation. We didn't wait for a study. We knew we had to deal with the duty to intervene issue, and we dealt with it. And things that I can deal with quickly that, require less thought and the answers are more obvious and immediate, I intend to take those actions more obviously and more immediately. I think, Rich told you about you're a public body, so it actually matters. Think about what you say, think about what you write. If you don't want to repeat it, don't say it that way. But there are plenty of good ways to say things and constructive ways to say things, even when you're frustrated. I understand the anger that people feel out there in the community. It's amazing to me that it took George Floyd's death to trigger what has happened in this country, because it could have been anybody's death of the hundreds of deaths that have occurred annually for years and years and years and decades. What is it, 3.5 decades after, no, 4.5 decades after the civil rights legislation? Or was it 5.5 decades? That's a long time. Passing that legislation apparently did not deal with these underlying issues of justice and equal treatment under the law. And so we are tasked to deal with some of that stuff, and that's what I'm asking you to think about and to be dealing with now. I'm confident that you're going to be able to do this. We're going to make sure you have help. But I think we put together a wide-ranging group of people with a wide range of experiences, some from the professional side, some from the street side, who can inform these discussions. We're going to deal head-on with the issues of racism. This is alive and well in America, and we only need to look around us now to see that it's alive and well. God knows it's going to be hard enough to deal with this nationally, but we're going to do what we can to address the issues front and center here in the county. We're going to make it clear what our expectations are, and we're going to make sure that we come up with a better plan for the police department when we're finished. This really is a deeper issue than just policing. You know, with how you deal with substance abuse, how you deal with alcoholism, form of substance abuse, how you deal with child abuse and assault and sexual assault and battering and all those things. They're social issues. They're not going to be solved by the police. The police can put you in jail. They can't solve the problem. And if all we do is put people in jail, turn them back out at the end of the day after they serve the sentence, the odds of them coming out and being a whole lot different just from a jail experience, not really great. So we've got to think about, what do we do to intervene before it gets to the jail stage? What do we do when we're in jail and somebody's in jail, to make sure that when they come out, they're actually better for the experience. And hopefully you all learned something about the Montgomery County Jail, which is actually probably one of the best jails in the country, and has been put together. Art Wallenstein and Rob after him and Angela Talley now all came on a tradition of trying to make sure that the jail became a center for reform and for helping people re-enter society. It's hard to do because people still carry the criminal records. That's why I put in a law that got passed, that got rid, that said you can't, that banned the box on an application saying, have you ever been arrested? Because we didn't want people to start with, you've got a criminal record, there's no way I'm going to hire you. We wanted people to get through the application process in case the person might actually like the person they were interviewing. We wanted to make sure that person had a chance to present themselves in the best possible way. So we are going to work hard. It's a tough task to get it done by January 18th. We meant to start this about a month earlier, but we're starting it now. I look forward to listening to people's comments. Tonight will be more introductory, but I really look forward to your participation. You have a chance to make a difference in Montgomery County. You could really change the way this department functions, the way our officers see themselves in the community, and the way the community sees our officers. You can be the ones that help us direct ourselves to a place where police are doing things that are truly meant for the police, but they're not doing things that aren't meant for the police. And I'm looking forward to the work you do. I feel fortunate that we've had as little of the worst behavior that we do have, but the little bit we have is too much. And at some level, in some crimes, it's more than a little bit. And I know you're going to hear about disproportionality. You're going to learn, big shock, that we disproportionately stop people of color for traffic incidents, and that they disproportionately get tickets rather than warnings. They disproportionately get convicted rather than acquitted. Disproportionality is a real thing. You'll learn about it. And hopefully you'll help contribute to ways that we can move past disproportionality into something that's more equitable, something we can truly be proud of in this county. And we're going to make sure at the end of the day that our investments start aligning with community needs. We spend a lot of money here. We don't spend a lot of money dealing with homelessness. We don't spend a lot of money with other things that we know are critical. So hopefully this will help free up some resources to do other jobs that we need to do. And with that, I'll thank you. I look forward to hearing you, and I look forward to working with you. And am I turning it over? Or Caroline, you turning it over?
Thank you so much, County Executive Erich. Yes, I'll turn it over. Thank you for those warm welcome remarks. Now we want to provide our chairs an opportunity to welcome the task force members. We will start off with Ms. Bernice Mercou-North, and then we will proceed with Mr. Mark Meyer.
Good evening, everyone. I am Bernice Mercou-North. I'm a solo practitioner in Silver Spring, and one of my areas of law is criminal defense work. And I am extremely humble as I look across our virtual meeting room. I'm extremely humbled by the participation that is going to occur in this task force, and I'm even more honored to be selected as co-chair with my other colleague, Mark Maurer. And a little bit about my background. I am from Montgomery County, went to Blair High School and went on to the University of Maryland and Howard Law School. And I am a former prosecutor. I used to be a prosecutor with the Anne Arundel County State's Attorney's Office. And during that time, I prosecuted a wide range of cases, and as low level as marijuana possession, driving without a license, to juvenile offenses, and even some felonies. But I never removed myself from Montgomery County. I stayed involved in the community. I served as chair of the Silver Spring Citizens Advisory Board for 2 terms, where we actually had conversations years ago about community police relations. And I lament that we never really addressed the elephant in the room at that time, which is racism. And we're in a time in our country right now where racial hatred at the hands of law enforcement has intensified before our eyes, and that's why we're all here today. And so I really think this is an opportunity for us as a county to reimagine what police safety looks like in light of what we're seeing across the country. Now, based on my background, I do have a great deal of respect for law enforcement that keep our community safe, but I believe no one is above criticism. So if there are policies that are supposed to make us safe, but don't make certain families safe, Black and brown families safe, then that has to be critiqued. If there are policies that are disproportionately impacting young Black men, that has to be critiqued. So I'm looking forward to all of our conversations. I know we have a variety of backgrounds, and I am very humbled about the opportunity to work with all of you in the next coming months as we try to tackle proposals as to how we can redefine public safety in Montgomery County.
Thank you, Bernice. All right. Mark Meyer, want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure, thank you. I'm Mark Maurer, and along with Bernice, I am deeply honored to be a co-chair of this task force and look at the wonderful group of people that have been assembled for this work. By way of background, I recently retired as the executive director of the Sentencing Project and am now a senior advisor to the organization. The Sentencing Project is a national criminal justice reform organization based in D.C., and through research, education, and advocacy, we've attempted to challenge mass incarceration and racial injustice as it manifests itself in the criminal justice system. Over my more than 3 decades of work with the Sentencing Project, I've been privileged to testify in Congress. I've worked with a broad range of practitioners in the criminal justice system. I've been engaged with state and local advocacy organizations, with organizations formed by people in prison and on the outside by formerly incarcerated activists. And I feel my understanding, my work has been enriched by all of those engagements I've had, and I would like to think I helped to contribute to reform movements for a more fair and effective system of justice. My hope for the task force is that we have a very rich conversation about public safety and racial justice. There are some people who believe that these are competing goals. You can either have public safety or you can have racial justice. And I think that's fundamentally incorrect, both in practical terms and moral terms as well. These absolutely need to be linked if we want to achieve these separate goals. Over the course of the coming weeks and months, we're going to have a very strong engagement with law enforcement in the county, looking at what works, looking at what doesn't work, what kinds of changes need to be made, and that's a very important job of the task force. At the same time, I would encourage us to think very broadly about how we look at these issues. In recent decades in the United States, we've come to view public safety as something that's produced by policing and incarceration. And yes, those institutions have a role to play, but it seems to me we want to move to a point where those are the last options on the table, not the first options on the table. To the extent that we can envision public safety as something that comes out of creating opportunity for all, I think we end up with a smaller justice system and a larger role in creating public safety. So let me just remind us, and I will keep doing this through the course of where our deliberations, this task force is concerned with reimagining public safety. Let's try to imagine if we wanted to start off at square one on developing a public safety system and structure that would work best for this county. What would that look like? And once we know where we want to go, what are the steps we need to begin to move in that direction? So I'm very excited, very humbled to be here with all of you, and very much looking forward to working with you in the coming months. Thanks so much.
Great. Thank you both to Bernice and Mark for accepting this role of being the co-chairs for this task force. I really appreciate you, as well as all of the other 80 plus members who are here tonight, and I look forward to working with both of you as well as the entire task force as a whole. Now, before we move on to do introductions of all of the task force members, wanted to spend a little time providing an overview of the county's overall Reimagining Public Safety Initiative, as well as the objective for the task force itself. So I would like to share my screen now. So if you would bear with me for a moment while I pull this up. And let's see. So can I get a thumbs up or thumbs down? Are you guys able to see my screen? I see a thumbs up. Okay, thanks very much. Not sure if I actually introduced my title early on. My name is Caroline Sturgis. I am an Assistant Chief Administrative Officer for the County Executive's Office. I want to quickly start off by first stating that the County Executive's vision for reimagining public safety is building a more equitable and inclusive Montgomery County by promoting safe neighborhoods and communities that are better and for all county residents. Earlier this summer, it was on July 1, I believe, the County Executive had a press event where he officially launched his Reimagining Public Safety Initiative. And there were 6 things that the executive focused on in support of this reimagining. The first is to create this task force. So we are excited that we have fully launched it and we're having our meeting tonight. The second item is to collect research and analyze data and information to help us guiding and how do we reimagine public safety in the county. We will also be reviewing policies and procedures of the police department. This will include consulting with an independent contractor to help us with this work. We are going to reimagine how the county can respond to community needs for health and social services, where police right now is responding because we just have a void right there. We will also be initiating a reorganization of the police department. We've been fortunate with our police chief, Marcus Jones, where we've been having discussions with him, and he is fully supportive of this initiative and engaged in helping us to do that reorganization. And finally, we will look at rebalancing county investments to ensure that we're keeping our communities safe. Now, this is pretty expensive. For this task force, just want to let you know that we are not going to require that the task force be responsible for doing all of this. But in partnership with the county, this is the overall mission of the county executive. So in looking at assembling the task force, we've engaged, this task force is a work group of representatives from various areas, including community, individuals, community organizations. We have county departments and agencies, as well as local municipalities represented on the task force. Glad to see a lot of faces here tonight. Ultimately, your goal will be to develop recommendations that will reimagine the county police department, as well as all public safety programs by January 18th of 2021. This slide here just quickly shows a visual of how we've organized the task force. We have the community, and then we have the county. As mentioned early on by the county executive, I'm sorry, hi, you cannot hear me?
Caroline, the slide on the screen is still on the co-chair slide.
Oh, it's still on a co-chair. It's not moving. Oh, thank you. Oh, let's see. Is it moving now?
No.
No? Not moving? Okay, it's moving here. All right. Well, sorry about that. Let's see. I will stop sharing. I'm sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize that it wasn't moving. So my presentation is brief. What I will do is I will continue, and then I will ensure that I forward this presentation to all. So am I back up? Are you guys able to see me? Thumbs up? Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. My apologies for that technicality right there. So let's see. So sorry you weren't able to see that visual here, but I'll quickly go through the other objectives of this task force. Is as far as collecting, research, and analyzing data. Internally, the county, we had organized a work group of individuals from various departments, from our police department, our Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, Health and Human Services, the Office of Management and Budget, county staff, just across the board. We have gathered information and data that we will package together in a report to deliver to the task force. We believe that this will be a starting point for the task force. We didn't want you to start off with a blank slate, but wanted to equip you with enough information so you can start off with having robust discussions during your next meetings and going forward. So we anticipate having that report of information and data made available for you within the next 2 weeks here, and definitely before your next meeting. In reviewing the police department's policies and procedures, our goal is to hire a consultant that will assist in this independent audit of the police department. In particular, we want them to look to uncover if there are any aspects of implicit bias, as well as systemic racial biases within the department. And if they do uncover any, we'd like to see recommendations on how we can address those. They will also be assessing the impact of enforcement operations, including policing practices, through the application of laws on historically marginalized and discriminated against populations, particularly those communities of color, our Black and Brown communities. Want to see how there's been any impacts towards regarding law enforcement operations. This comprehensive audit will also include looking at our hiring, training, promotion, and evaluation process of the department to see if there are any biases in how those are being handled. And finally, look at the consultant will be responsible for providing us recommendations for reform that will ultimately help to improve community-oriented policing and engagement, as well as helping to build the public trust with the community using national best practices. How we're going to reimagine county response to community needs is another thing that we'll be looking at underneath this initiative. This is in the area where right now police is basically filling the void for health and social services needs. We want to look at developing a robust crisis response system that looks at addressing mental health, homelessness, child welfare, youth diversion programs, domestic violence. These are some examples, but not a comprehensive list. We also want to look at creating a sustained support and integrated case management approach that would address crises and leads into improved intervention to prevention services of our investment. And finally, as we look at reimagining our response to community needs, we want to partner with other county departments, including nonprofit organizations and others, to look at finding alternatives to either arresting individuals who are committing minor offenses that may stem from some of these social challenges such as mental illness, substance abuse, poverty, or homelessness. We also looking at initiating the reorganization of the police department. Some of the things that the police department is looking at, we're looking at creating a new assistant civilian police chief position that has already been approved by council. The police will be recruiting for that soon. I'm looking at expanding the use of our telephone reporting unit for non-emergency calls and having them go through that instead of having a police respond to all calls for services. Looking at school resource officers, looking at their role and the police being at all schools. Looking at our district action teams, looking at our traffic unit division, as well as looking at a professional accountability division, are areas that we'll be looking at as we reorganize the department. And the final objective underneath the county's reimagining initiative is looking at rebalancing county investments in safe communities. And here is, how do we prioritize our investments to ensure that they are aligning with the community needs, whether they be in healthcare, employment, education, housing, or other public benefits. So what's happening now? As I mentioned early on, we did create an internal work group that gathered lots of information to help prepare and inform the work of this task force. Our internal work group included about 30 individuals, and we organized that into subgroups. The focus areas, that information will be provided in your packet. The areas were 5 areas. We had one group that looked at the 911 and 311 data, a second group that looked at the police department's budget, a third group looked at the police department's programs, a fourth group looked at other departments and organizations that could assist us in identifying alternative programs, and then a fifth group looked at best practices for health and social services, as well as crisis response system. So that's how we organize our group. But for this task force, you will have full autonomy over how you organize your groups. So you could continue down the path of how we've prepared the packet for you, and you can expand that or make any other changes as you see fit. So with that, that is the end of my presentation on the overall overview of the county's Reimagining initiative, as well as the role of the task force. As I stated, I am truly sorry that I wasn't able to present the slides, but I will ensure that I get these slides sent out to everyone, and I'm sure we'll also have it made available publicly for all of our viewers. So at this point of the agenda, we will now transition into introducing the task force members. So as I look at the count of participants, I see we have 73 online, and we had dedicated about 50 minutes for this, understanding that we will kindly ask everyone to please keep your introductions to about 30 seconds or less, just so we can allow everyone to basically introduce themselves by name, what organization that they're representing, whether they're representing an organization or just overall representing the community. Right now, I think everyone is muted. We will unmute all. I will ask you, once you introduce yourself, to please mute yourself so we can minimize the background noise. So I will be using the roster for those who are actually signed on to call out your name, so you can introduce yourself. For those who may have abbreviated name, I will apologize in advance because I don't necessarily know who you are. So I will do my best in pronouncing your names. So if I botched it, please don't punish me too hardly for that. So let's start off with our names here. So if anyone wants to follow with me, I am going down the list and down the list. So the first person I see on my list here is Albert Reed. Albert, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Albert Delon Reed, Jr., CEO of Albert Reed and Associates. I'm a criminal justice transformation consultant, social justice commentator, and public speaker based out of Gaithersburg, Maryland. On September 10th, 1995, I was sentenced to a statutory mandatory life term of imprisonment for a nonviolent drug offense. On May 16, 2019, after serving almost 25 years, I was granted immediate release due to the First Step Act of 2018. I'm originally from New York, but relocated to Gaithersburg upon my release. As a fellow for the Daniel Step Project in charge of the Criminal Justice Transformation Portfolio, I am equipped and trained to communicate complex policy and social issues effectively and efficiently to various audiences. I am uniquely qualified to uplift those the criminal justice system has oppressed and effectively consult in the criminal justice and policy space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, next on list is Alan.
Hi, I'm Alan Wolf. I'm the chief attorney at the Montgomery County Public Defender's Office. I started working in that office in 1987. In my work, I talk to a great number of people who themselves or their family members or their loved ones have had experiences with either the police or other aspects of the criminal justice system that have left them feeling powerless and abused. And those experiences are something that I will share with the committee, and their comments will inform my comments and my work with the committee. Good to meet you all.
Ana Martinez.
Hi everyone, my name is Ana Martinez. I'm a lead organizer with CASA, which is the largest immigrant rights organization in the Mid-Atlantic region. I've been raised most of my life in Montgomery County, but I was born in Nicaragua. And to me, I think that this is important, especially because, as we know, there's a lot of fear within the immigrant community as well as the African American community when it comes to the police force. And I definitely want to make sure that the county provides those spaces for people to feel comfortable to share their voices at the same time that we start looking for long-term solutions, so to make sure that we create changes within the county.
Thank you. Antonio Duvall, that would be Chief Antonio Duvall.
All right, thank you. Took me a minute. You had unmuted me there. Tony Duvall, I currently serve as the Chief of Police for the City of Tacoma Park Police Department. Prior to that, I was the Chief of Police for the Park Police here in Montgomery County. I'm a lifelong resident of Montgomery County. It's an honor to serve on the committee. We're trying to reimage the public safety model in Tacoma Park, so it's great to have to be able to serve on this committee and serve as a conduit for both of those committees.
All right, Athena Morrow.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Athena Morrow. I work with the Department of Health and Human Services with Behavioral Health and Crisis Services. Longtime employee of the county and have always worked throughout my career with folks who are involved in the criminal justice system and have suffered from mental health and substance abuse issues. I run a number of programs that serve folks who are incarcerated and require reentry services or diversion services, including our mental health court. Nice to meet you all and very excited to be here.
Thanks. Okay, let's see. I believe I am on Ben Stevenson.
Good evening, everyone. Ben Stevenson. I'm the acting division chief for the Community Corrections Division with the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Been with the county for about 25 years, working primarily with participants and those that have been incarcerated and preparing them for community release. Been working with Athena's group and looking at how we can better impact diversion as well as reduce recidivism. Nice to meet you all.
Okay. All right, I missed one. Let's see. Theophi. Not sure if that's your full name.
No.
Okay.
I will solve the problem. We are normally abbreviated at Montgomery College because I have a very long name. Ernestine Theophile Lafont. I am an island woman. I'm a member of the Caribbean American Advisory Group. I'm a full-time faculty in the communications department at Montgomery College. I work extensively for folks from all ages and all types, and the experience of having them disclose their life experiences, especially as they move and live and have their being in the county, is of interest to me. And I'm hoping that their voices can be made to play on the landscape as we seek to find the appropriate solutions to our situations. Advocacy is my work in the Black and Brown Coalition as a volunteer, and also even advocating for faculty members for equity and inclusion.
Thank you. All right, Brenda. Oh, sorry, I lost my place here. I thought it was Brenda.
Akinabe.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenda Akinabe, and I've also been a Montgomery County resident all my life. Like many of you all, I've been deeply traumatized by the events we're seeing with policing violence occurring against Black and other people of color. And in this social political landscape that we find ourselves in, I've felt moved like no other time in my life and felt the need to give back to my community, and I felt that I could do that through this task force. In my current role as the Director of Infection Prevention and Control at a local hospital here in Montgomery County, I work with clinicians to make sure that we provide good quality of care to our patients. And although myself, I'm not a clinician, I do provide oversight for how to make sure that we use policies and use data to review our day-to-day practice to ensure that our patients get high quality, equitable care. And I see the policing violence in this nation as a public health emergency and feel that my skills in healthcare and reviewing policy, using data to analyze our practices translates very well into this arena to be able to work with the Montgomery County Police Department and really make us be one of the first counties, I think, potentially in this nation that truly models community policing the way that our police department and our county likes to do or would like to do. So I'm very thankful to be a part of this task force.
Thank you. Chris Bolton.
Good evening, everyone. Chris Bolton.
I have the honor of chairing the East County Citizens Advisory Board currently. I am excited to be on this. I think we'll be first in the nation to address these issues that are plaguing not only our community, but just us in general. There's a stigma where, we have the police versus everybody else and everybody else versus the police. And I think this group has it in them to solve that, fix that, and I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Clint Sabarata.
Hi, good evening. I'm Clint Sabarati. I came from the U.S. Virgin Islands of St. Croix. I've been living here in Montgomery County since 2005. I work for Montgomery County Department of Transit. I'm a bus operator to ride on. I'm also a sub steward for UFCW Local 1994 McGeo, and I'm a member of the Caribbean American Advisory Group. I am really happy to be part of this group. I think we have a problem that is throughout. Montgomery County have some good police, and we could be the model where we could show the country of a better police enforcement community, and the police force come together and work together. I'm really excited to get involved, get down to the grinds, and come up with a better plan and a vision for the future for the county, because I decided to call the county home since 2005, and I can't see no other where else. And what I'll say with that is, what I wrote here is, the beauty of our international community conversation is progress, which I'm seeing here with everybody on this call.
Thank you. Looks like I missed one. I'm sorry. Carlene Ponder. Carlene Ponder, are you on?
Yeah.